So yesterday, you guys saw the news yesterday. Lamarcus Aldridge has now signed with the Brooklyn Nets. So now that makes it five guys now on the Brooklyn Nets. Of course, KD, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Blake Griffin, and now Lamarcus Aldridge. I mean, forget making a super team. This is putting the whole Justice League squad together right here. That's really what I want to talk about. I mean, this whole concept of the NBA and super teams. I mean, this has been gotten out of hand, and it's been out of hand for a while now. It gets to the point where it makes the league very predictable, and it makes it feel like, what's the point? It takes away the point of watching it and takes away some interest from a fan perspective. You feel like it's obvious who's going to be in the finals. If you feel like at this point, it's obviously going to be the Lakers now that they have the addition of Andre Drummond, and then you got the Nets, who got basically the Justice League squad. This whole super team, this has been a thing that's going for a while, where all these different super teams form, they make big runs, and really cut to the point where you have to build up a super team to win, and that can be, now for the teams that are lucky enough to build up super teams, that's great for them. But now from a fan perspective, you're looking at it, it can be very boring. You feel like you lose some interest. Feel very dull, bland, repetitive, seeing super team after super team after super team after super team form. We can go back in history. You had the Lakers, even in the early years with Kobe and Shaq, they built a super team there. Eventually adding Karl Malone and Gary Payton to the mix. No, that did eventually fall apart, though. Then you also had other super teams. You had the Celtics with KG, Pierce, Ray Allen. They won a championship out of it and had multiple finals appearances. Then, of course, you had the next super team that came along and dethroned them. The Miami Heat super team, where you had LeBron, D-Wade, Bosh, and eventually guys like Rashad Lewis and Ray Allen came into the mix. And it just goes on and on. I mean, you had some super teams that failed, of course, like 2012, 2013 Lakers with Kobe, Steve Nash, and Dwight Howard. Then after that, you get another super. Even LeBron, he left to go back to Cleveland. He really formed another super team over there. Where was him as the main guy, Kyrie is the number 2, and Kevin Love is the number 3 guy. Now, that wasn't the strongest super team, but still was a super team that reigned supreme in the Eastern Conference for 3 straight seasons. Even that final season, LeBron was there while Kevin Love was there. They made it back to the finals again. Then, of course, speaking of the Cavs being in the finals 4 straight years, you also had the Warriors super team. I mean, you already had a strong enough Warriors team, made it back-to-back finals, winning the first time, where you had Steph, Clay, and Draymond. And then you added Kevin Durant to the mix. I mean, Jesus Christ, that team was unstoppable in the West. You knew there was nobody that was beating them. And then eventually they added DeMarcus Cousins for the 2018-2019 season. And it seemed like they were going to win yet another championship and pull off the three-peat. But then they lost to the Toronto Raptors. And not to take away from the Toronto Raptors' accomplishment, but we all know what played a factor in that. Out of those 5 guys right there, you had Boogie went down. Then you had KD went down with the Achilles. Then KD left to go to the Nets, which gets to the next super team that forms. The point being, it gets to the point now where we've always had these issues with super teams, but now it seems like as time goes along, the concept of these super teams gets more ridiculous. And I was watching a video earlier today from Mr. Dugas. Mr. Dugas is an Eagles fan. He's also a Miami Heat fan and an LSU college fan. And but me and Mr. Dugas do have the Eagles fan in common. I was watching his video where he talked about Lamarcus Aldridge signing with the Nets, and I left a comment saying the only team fan base that's happy about this is the Brooklyn Nets fan base. The other 29 teams fan bases, they're disappointed about this, and they're shaking their heads at this. Now I turn that over to you guys that are watching. Do you know anyone that'd be happy about this besides Nets fans? Absolutely not. Teams just build up stronger and stronger, and eventually to the point as a fan, you're looking at like, Jesus Christ, how many players can a team get? Excuse me, but get to the point where it's like they build up so many players on the team, it seems like nobody can beat them. And from a fan interest standpoint, over time, I think that's bad for fan interest, where it feels like there's one team that you pretty much know is going to win. Doesn't feel like there's a shot anyone's going to beat them. Doesn't feel like there's a shot that anything's going to be different. That's what it felt like during the Warriors super team when you had the Cavs in the East with LeBron. It felt like nobody was going to touch the Cavs or the Warriors. From a fan interest standpoint, a lot of fans didn't like that. Obviously, it's great for the Cavs and Warriors, great for the players involved. From a league interest standpoint, it wasn't that good. In the long run, from fan interest standpoint, I should say, because you're feeling like, oh, Jesus, are we going to have to sit through Cavs and Warriors every year? Now, fortunately, the Warriors super team did die off a bit and looked like we had parity for the first time 2019-2020. And how we actually got the Miami Heat to the NBA Finals out of it against the Lakers. So you got a little bit of parity there. But now here we are this year, another super team forms. Now this time it's freaking 5 guys on there. The Sixers fan, you're looking at like, you're almost wondering, how is my team going to be able to compete with this team? This is why I feel the Sixers need to step up on the buyout market. And I'll make that video tomorrow as a follow-up on this. But I feel this super team concept has gotten out of hand. It seems like the super teams, they get bigger and bigger and bigger and seemingly more unstoppable at full strength as time goes along. It's like all these super teams, like from the Celtics super team with Doc as their coach with like KG, Pierce, and Allen, to eventually the Heat super team, to then eventually the Warriors super team, now to the Nets super team. It feels like at full force, each super team is stronger at full force than before. And it seems like the only chance you have at stopping them is for that team not to be at full force. That's how the Toronto Raptors stopped the Warriors last time, because they weren't at full force. It feels like this Nets team, it's going to be more of the same. You're not going to stop them at full force. I don't know who's going to be able to stop them in the East at full force. Someone does stop them, particularly my team, the Sixers. I really want to see that. It's starting to get out of hand. They need to stricten up the buyout rules. That's all I'm going to say about this. Now, tomorrow I'm going to do a follow-up video talking about the Sixers, what they should do on the buyout. I'll leave it at that. So those that watch this video, as always, thank you for watching my vids. Hit the like button to show your support for the channel. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload new vids. And feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think of Lamarcus Aldridge signing with the Nets and the super team concept. And to everyone watching, have a wonderful day or night. Nicky Steve signing off, and I'll see you next time.